Welcome back to this lesson. So in this lesson, we want to look at where we stopped in our domain 2 of AB-100 examination, uh, the signing, agentic AI solution architect. Domain 2 is about designing. Domain 1 is planning. Domain 2 is designing agentic AI powered business solution using Microsoft ecosystem. Okay, and then of course, we've been following the design patterns and the requirements and what you should include in the architecture, integration with Dynamic 365, Office 365, building in Copilot Studio, and Microsoft Founder. So we'll continue with what we have on this slide. Remember, our goal is agent design extensibility to other using tools to other enterprise application and orchestration deployment in Office 365, Dynamics 365, and Microsoft Power Platform solution. All right. So on this, our current slide, we have open protocol. Okay. So open protocols are, tools or protocols or adapters or adapters that allow agents to connect to external application, external database, external system like website, like database, or any external, information that you want to use to ground the knowledge and the output of the agentic system workflow. So under this open protocol, we'll be looking at MCP extensibility in Copilot Studio. Okay, so MCP server was developed by Anthropic, and it was also open source by them, and Microsoft has adopted it basically to act as a bridge between databases and agentic AI workflows and connection. So it's in MCP server you have you have like three architecture. You have the server architecture, which connects to the database securely using role-based access control, and then you have the client, which is where the agent send information and receive information that is coming from the server. And then we have a protocol that allow server to connect with protocol allows server to connect with the APIs and application and external applications, and it also allows server to communicate with client and client with the agentic AI system. So the architecture terms that you should understand here are MCP. So MCP server is a model client model context protocol. That is the full meaning, and the content is server, client, and protocol. So those are what you have there. And then context boundaries. Also understand context boundary. Context boundary are just like domain boundary. Okay, so domain boundaries are domain informations. Okay, so information of a particular department should be limited to that particular department. So if you are designing an agent for a particular department or a particular business domain, that agent should have access to only that domain data and the information it requires in that domain. That is called domain boundary. It's part of the design, it's part of the heuristic design principle in domain-driven design. Okay. Then business semantics. So business semantics is part of MCP. So business semantics are business metrics and business entities that should be extracted from the external sources, external databases and tools. Then interoperability. So protocol, of course, protocol in the MCP to allow interoperability between the external system and the server of the MCP and the client and the agent. So you have a seamless workflow and communication. Then you have audit logging. So every activity, everything happening within the system, even within the MCP server, is audited and logged. And then, of course, guardrails are also in place to ensure that every activities follows a company policy. So what do we have under our MCP extensibility? So MCP extensibility in Copilot Studio is just using MCP server to connect to external to connect agents to external tools, external application, and external knowledge bases. So MCP Model context protocol standardizes business context and tool access for agents. So it is a standard way for agents to connect to databases, connect to external system knowledge like MongoDB, like website, like external application, or like external databases like SQL Server or Microsoft or Microsoft SQL Server on-prem. Wherever the knowledge is, MCP server ensures secure connection and communication. Then MCP improves grounding, explainability, semantic consistency, and cross-agent interoperability. So it's just like you have in RAG database, for grounding, for fluency and to generate relevance information for agents to operate and to also allow agents generate a quality answer and prevent against hallucination. So MCP improves that. It allow agent have connection to grounding knowledge, to allow agent have connection to or knowledge sources that you can use to improve operation. It allow agent have more knowledge to explain the task that is doing and the output is given. It allow agent have operate within semantic consistency. That is, it allow them get personalized information that can aid the successful completion of the action that they are performing. And then it also gives agent cross-agent interoperability. So it also allow agents to communicate with each other. So in another language, MCP can be used as a tool for agent-to-agent communication, not only external tool. So context example include customers, vendors, products, workflows, financial dimensions, approval chains. So these are example of context. We have been talking of context boundaries. Context are specific to business domain. Context are domain information, domain metric, domain business metrics, domain business semantics, and they are limited to the particular domain. And then agents should operate within this context. Agents should not mix up context. The context of vendors should not be used by the customer agent. You understand? The context of product agent should not be used by vendor agent. The context of workflow agent should not be used by product agent. Every agent should operate within their domain, should operate within their boundary context. They should not be exposed to other information from other domain. So context example you can see here include customers, vendors, products, workflow, financial dimension, and approval chain. So governance require list privilege, audit login, context boundaries, and AI center of excellence ownership. Very, very important. So it is not only policy implementation that is governance. No, part of governance is implementing role-based access control, tight security, least privilege, audit logging every activities, every information coming from the external sources and going to the agent, and how agent also use this information should be properly logged, and the context boundary should also be governed. So this is where you can put guardrail. So you can put guardrail around context boundary so that agents do not escape their boundary. Agents don't cross their boundary and interact with either other agent. Agents don't cross their boundary and interact with other domain contexts. So they should operate within boundary. Remember, autonomy must always be bounded. An AI center of excellence. So we have said several times that every agent should have a owner. When we are talking of owner here, we are talking of human owner. There should be an employee that will be responsible for every agent that you are designing. Okay. So MCP helps agent reason over trusted business context instead of assumptions. So MCP prevents agent from hallucinating. Even beyond hallucination, it enables agent generate grounded knowledge, answer, and output. All right, so let's look at slide 54. So on this slide, we want to discuss computer use. Okay, so if you have worked in Copilot Studio, you will have you will see a tab where they use put computer use there. So we want to look at what that computer use can be used for. What can you use it to connect to? Remember, we have MCP tools, We have a ordinary tool, we have routing, okay, which allow agents to route to an action to a tool. Then we also have computer use. So these are just connectors that allow you to connect to knowledge. So we've learned about MCP, which allow agents to access external information and knowledge base. So what can computer use be used for? So agents that automate app and website. So we have agents that are used for automating application. So application are software that you have built, and then you can also use agents to automate with websites. So I think this is where computer use comes in. So let's look at the architecture terms under computer use. So the first one we have here is click. If you're operating computer, you click something for something to work, right? Even when you design a user interface, there are things that you need to click to get certain information. So there is click, there is type, there is scroll, okay, that will allow you to scroll down to information, to where the information you need are. Then there's legacy application. So you can also use computer use to connect to legacy application that are deployed on-prem, okay, not on cloud. Then we have vendor portals. So computer use also allow you to connect to on-prem vendor portals like ERP systems that are deployed on-prem. You can use computer use to connect to SAP applications that are operating on-prem. So these are terms that you should understand under the architecture and in designing for computer use. So let's look at a detailed understanding of it. So computer use enables agents to interact with websites, legacy application, desktop application, systems without API. So you can see it simply. So MCP allow agents to interact with MCP allow agents to get information from external database and knowledge bases, while computer use enable agents to interact. You can see this is interaction, not just getting information. Their interaction. It is receiving information from the website and passing information from the website. So interaction is two-way. So whenever there is communication, there is always a feedback. So it is bi-directional. So interaction is bi-directional. Send information to the website and also receive information from the website. So computer use enables agents to interact with website, legacy application on-prem, desktop application on your laptop, and systems without API. So you can see system without API. Very, very important. So that is computer use. So in the past question that I've studied, I saw about 3 questions on computer use. So take note of this definition. The first point here is very, very important in the examination. Capabilities of computer use include click, type, scroll, or read screen content, complete multi-step process. So you can see the architecture terms that we have discussed. Then good use case include vendor portals, data entry, form submissions, report downloads, and legacy systems. So these are use cases where you can use computer use in design. So this point number 1 is very, very important, and this point number 3 in the examination. Take notes. Good use case for computer of computer use in Copilot Studio portals, so to connect to vendor portals for data entry, for submissions, for report download, for legacy system. So computer use should be used here as an integrate or as a connector. Then use computer use only when APIs or connector are unavailable because UI changes, security, because of UI changes, security and reliability risk are higher. So when you don't have option of using API and when you don't have option of using connectors, or if the policy of the company does not allow the use of API connectors or even MCP server, the best tool you can use is computer use. So take note, computer use should be used when you have limitation of UI changes, security, reliability risks are very high. So take note, computer use should be the next option here. Very important. All right, so on this slide 55, we have agent behavior. So how do you design for agent behavior? So reasoning and voice mode behavior. So how do you design for reasoning and voice? How do you design for planning, How do you design for validation? How do you design for agent action, agent performing tasks, and how agent operates? So basically, we are looking at reasoning and voice mode behavior in agentic AI system. And the architecture terms that you should understand here are deep reasoning. So here you should design for deep reasoning. When is deep reasoning required? When is loop required? When is voice agent required? Instructions, policy, and escalations. So these are different architecture terms that you should understand under agent behavior. Deep reasoning, looping, voice agent, instruction, policies, and escalation. So let's look at the in-depth point. Point number one, behavior foundation include instruction, knowledge, actions, and policy. So the agent behavior are bounded within this. So the agent behavior are bounded with the instruction that you have defined. They are bounded with the knowledge that you have provided, with the actions that you have defined, and then within the policy that you are currently implementing. So this set boundary for agent behavior, and of course you must ensure that they are properly defined. So properly state the instruction for the agent in your prompt, properly define your knowledge basis, properly define the action the agent should perform, and the policy the agent should implement. Number two, standard reasoning fits summaries, conversation, and simple workflow. So for simple summary, conversation, simple workflow, make sure you implement standard reasoning. Then use deep reasoning fits. So use deep reasoning when you are designing for compliance decision, financial analysis, multi-step planning, and complex business solution. So this deep reasoning came out twice in the examination, okay, where they ask what kind of reasoning or voice mode should be used here. You see the option of conversation and deep reasoning. So very, very important. Understand the point. Don't take it for granted. It's an expo. So deep reasoning fits compliance decision, financial analysis, multi-step planning, and complex business rules. Also note that voice agents support IVR scenarios such as customer support, IT help desk, HR self-service, and field service. So instruction structure should define purpose, scope, tone, data boundary, quality expectations, error handling, and escalation. So it is very, very, very important that you structure instruction based on purpose, scope, tone, data boundaries, quality expectation, error handling, and escalation. So agents should also know when it should escalate to human, even when you are implementing deep reasoning and voice. All right, on the next slide here, we have Microsoft 365 agent design. So how do you optimize agent in Teams and SharePoint? Remember, you can deploy Office 365 agent in Teams. You can deploy Copilot Studio agent in Teams as well. So, and these are architecture terms that you should understand here. We have Teams, okay? So Teams is just like the communication channel in the Microsoft ecosystem. You host video on Team, you host meeting, take meeting notes, you connect with other company employee. Everybody in the company is always available in the team channel, and then you can connect with anyone you want to connect with, schedule and host meeting, okay, video meeting, you share screen, and then you take summary notes and so on and so forth. So SharePoint, we have SharePoint. This is the knowledge base of company. It is used for storing unstructured or data, okay, like files, like PDF, Word document, Excel. You also have SharePoint list where you can create table and enter data in real time. So this is just like a knowledge repository of enterprise, business. Then we have permission trimming. So we have said this is the second time we are looking at we've been always been looking at permission trimming. So trim down permission to what the agent require, even when you are connecting to SharePoint. Okay, so even when you are connecting to team, you are deploying into team, you should trim down permission to the meeting the agent is allowed to join. Trim permission down to the files that the agent is allowed to access. Very, very important. And then we also have metadata and lifecycle management, or ALM. So let's look at the detailed point of this Microsoft 365 agentic AI design. So number one is SharePoint. SharePoint agents use libraries, lists, pages, policies, wikis, and site content for grounded knowledge assistance. So these are ways that you can integrate SharePoint into Office 365 agent. We have Teams. Teams agents support channel summaries, question answering, workflow triggering, and task creation. Very, very important. So these are kind of agents that you can deploy into tip channel for summarization, question answering, workflow triggering, task creation. So you can easily integrate this kind of agent with Team. Then optimization require Microsoft Graph grounding, metadata, permission trimming, user context access, version control, usage monitoring, and lifecycle management. So very, very important. So if you need optimization, if you need to optimize the agent, maybe with more knowledge base, then you need to connect using Microsoft Graph, metadata, also give role-based access control and list privilege, use context access, okay, give access to only the data, only the domain data that you want to access or you want to get information from. Also implement version control, okay, so that you can, whenever you deploy the agent, give it a version so that you know the old version from the, you can differentiate the old version from the new version. So usage monitoring and lifecycle management, very, very important as well. So enterprise patterns include SharePoint Knowledge Assistant. So you can use SharePoint Knowledge Assistant as an example of agent that you can deploy on SharePoint. Teams, you can deploy agent like Project Assistant on Team. You can deploy Meeting Assistant on Teams. Then we have Policy Assistant. Okay, so Policy Assistant can also be deployed on Team in Office 365, Dynamic 365 to guard against file sharing, knowledge exposure, knowledge access, and then we have site owner assistant. So these are kind of agents that you can easily deploy on SharePoint, on Teams, and connect using Microsoft Graph. All right, on this slide, we have customer service, Dynamic 365 customer service, AI, and agent hub. So what are kind of, or these are maybe already made agents that are already available in Dynamic 365, or the custom agent that you can easily build and deploy in Dynamic 365 customer service, AI, and agent hub. So the architecture terms you should understand here is agent hub. Mind you, this question came out twice on agent hub. Please take note, and is a drop down, so it's not objective, so it's a drop down that you need to select. So there's AI agent hub, application lifecycle management everywhere, power platform deployment everywhere. So take note, understand this, very, very important. Agent hub. So architecture terms to understand under this customer service, Dynamic 365 customer service is agent hub. You have customer intent agent, you have case management agent, you have quality evaluation agent, you have contact center agent. So agent hub is just like the platform to deploy the agent in Dynamic 365 CRM. Then these are the kind of agent that you can deploy in the platform, on the platform. Customer intent agent, this will use sentiment analysis to determine the intent of every customer coming in and how to interact with them. Then case management agent, you can manage cases. You have quality evaluation agent and contact center agent, which is just a response agent that will communicate with customers. So let's look at the point we have here. Agent Hubs centralizes AI monitoring, governance, adoption, tracking, and responsible AI oversight. Remember, I told you that this question is one of the examination. So know the functionality of Agent Hub as a centralizer of AI monitoring, governance, adoption, tracking, and responsible AI oversight. So this is the function of Agent Hub. This is where you can easily deploy and monitor and govern agent in real time in Dynamic 365 CRM. So autonomous service agent include customer intent agent, case management agent, knowledge management agent, and quality evaluation agent. So these are agent service, the autonomous service or type of agent that you can easily deploy on this platform as a use case for business solution. So Copilot for contact center support questions, email composition, case summaries, conversation summary, recommended actions. So in one of the use case in AB-100 examination, you will see this under the contour question, where they ask this kind of question about CRM, and they mention email, voice on email, or email voice application, something like that. Please understand these terms and understand the kind of agent that can be deployed on this platform. Understand AI Hub as a central, as a business central business center for monitoring AI, governing AI, adopting and tracking AI, and for responsible AI oversight. Okay. So design consideration includes CRM feed quality, SLA data, customer history, privacy, role-based access control, custom prompt, Power Automate, and Assure Open AI. So these are design considerations that you should put into action under this customer service. Okay, feed quality, SLA data, customer history, privacy, role-based access control, custom prompt, Power Automate, and Assure Open AI. All these are the design considerations that can easily integrate with Dynamics 365 customer service AI. And agentic AI Hub is where you can monitor all these agents, govern and adopt tracking and define responsible AI oversight. All right, so we are done with this session. When we come back, we will be looking at the last section on this domain. So if you are just joining us, please kindly like and subscribe to encourage your girl. Thank you.